What's up, everybody? Weston here with the Hidden Gibbon, back with another Daily Deck Tech video, and back with another viewer request in our long line of viewer requests. Let me count here quick. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 left in our ever-expanding list. If you want to see your commander made into a deck tech, drop it in the comments down below. If you like what I'm doing over here at the Hidden Gibbon, feel free to subscribe. You don't have to, only if you feel I'm doing a good job. We've got these deck techs. We've got my new Magic for the Working Class series on Mondays. We have budget content, and we have discussion content. But without further ado, let's get straight into this viewer request. And this one's going to be complicated. This one took me a lot of research, and it was pretty tricky. It's Princess Yue. And Princess Yue is a interesting card, right? She's a 3/2 for 3. She's a character from Avatar: The Last Airbender. And when Princess Yue dies, if she was a non-land creature, return this card to the battlefield tapped under your control. She's a land named Moon, which is legendary, and she gains tap, add 1 colorless. And then her regular ability is tap, scry 2. So you might be looking at this card and be like, what the hell can you do with it? Well, due to some interesting and fun rulings and layerings in Magic the Gathering, you can use her to kind of make some cheese, whether it's stealing your opponent's stuff or, well, copying your opponent's stuff or copying some of your own cheesy things. Princess Yue works very well with clones. If I can get it to, well, there we go. Moxfield was having a bit of a struggle there. So clone says you may have clone enter the battlefield as a copy of any creature on the battlefield. And you're like, well, Weston, Princess Yue is legendary. Won't one of them blow up? And the answer to that question is yes. And you're going to choose your clone. And so when clone hits the graveyard, it still thinks it's Princess Yue before it gets cleared. So then the Princess Yue trigger comes, and then it clears and becomes a clone again. And it comes back as a land, but it comes back as clone. And so you can have clone as a land, then copy something. Say your opponent has a creature that just, a Nekuzar, right? Say your opponent has a Nekuzar. You can have it copy a Nekuzar. And then you have a land named Moon, which is legendary. It's not named Nekuzar. And it is a Nekuzar as a land, which means then, you know, your opponents get pinged when they draw cards, right? It's pretty cool like that. And so what we're going to do today is we're going to use a bunch of clones. We're going to clone our opponent's things, and then we are also going to clone some of our own stuff, and then we're going to get in there and hopefully do some silly things. This version of this deck is not the highest power in the world, but without further ado, let's get into it, shall we? So let's take a look first at our clone effects. And I do have some utility in here for clones, even if, like, say somebody catches on and gets rid of the Princess Yue, there are some creatures in here that you can get some generic value out of for cloning. All right, so we have Arbiter of the Ideal, which is flying. When Arbiter of the Ideal becomes untapped, reveal the top card of your library. If it's an artifact, creature, or land card, you may put it onto the battlefield with a manifestation counter on it. That permanent is an enchantment in addition to its other types. Oh yes, this is also extremely important. When, say you copy your Arbiter of the Ideal, turning it into a Moon, so then you have 2 Arbiter of the Ideals. If you clone another thing and turn it into a Moon, Moon is legendary, so then you will have to choose one or the other, right? But Arbiter of the Ideal is one of our clone targets. We do have Clever Impersonator in here. You may have this creature enters a copy of any non-land permanent on the battlefield. Clone, OG Clone is in here. Copy Crook, can have it enter the battlefield as a copy of any creature on the battlefield, except it has when this creature attacks, it connives. We have Emeritus of Ideation in here. Now, this is extremely important. So Emeritus of Ideation works better not as a moon. However, you can still moon it, right? If you moon it, you're only going to get 1 ancestral recall off of it, and then you may as well just send it to the yard because it then can't attack unless you find a way in blue to animate your lands and have them attack. So Emeritus of Ideation is actually in here as one of those standard clone targets. Like, if you already have something that you have in your moon slot that is an incredibly strong thing, you also can copy your Emeritus of Ideation, getting yourself Ancestral Recalls. We do have Fallow Sage. It's whenever it becomes tapped, you draw a card. So when it's a land, as a moon, when it taps, you get to draw a card. Plus, you get to add that mana. It's super cool. Gigantoplasm, you may have it enter the battlefield as a copy of any creature on the battlefield except it has X. This creature has base power and toughness of XX. Glasspool Mimic, which is an MDFC, so you do have a land option out of here. You can have it enter the battlefield as a copy of a creature you control, except it's a shapeshifter rogue in addition to its other types. Homunculus Horde. I love this card a lot. This is actually something really fun that you can do with it. So if you make Homunculus Horde into a moon, right, the copies that it makes won't be moons. They'll be Homunculus Hordes, the originals. Kind of like, think of when I talk about that combo in mono green where you can Earthbend a land, put Springheart and Tuco on it, and then generate copies. Those come back as lands and not the creatures. This comes back as a creature, not a land, because it's going to come back as Homunculus Horde. Interesting, right? We have Mechan Navigator, which is whenever this creature becomes tapped, draw a card, then discard a card. So this one, as a moon, would let you loot. Mirror Image, have it enter as a copy of any creature on the battlefield that you control. So this one's one-sided. Omni Changeling convokes. It can enter the battlefield as a copy of any creature, except it has Changeling, so it's all creature types. Phantasmal Image, you can have it enter the battlefield as any creature on the battlefield, except it's an illusion, and when this creature becomes the target of a spell or ability, sacrifice it. And this is fine, because people targeting lands is incredibly rare because of the social contract and magic around people's lands. Most people, especially lower power, don't have literally anything that can target a land. We have Phyrexian Metamorph. It's also a clone. It's also one of my favorite cards in all of Magic. Now, for my big three. These are three cards that I absolutely... Like, I've played these cards for the longest time. I used to even play them in one of them in my... two of them in my 12-post deck back in the day. And that's Platinum Angel, Platinum Empyrean, and Silent Arbiter. So Silent Arbiter and Platinum Empyrean, I actually ran in the sideboard of my 12-post deck to... because I could ramp out Platinum Empyrean on like turn 2, 3, well, actually closer to 3, 4, to protect me from things like Price of Progress, etc. But Platinum Empyrean simply says your life total can't change. You have this down here as a moon land. Nobody's going to be able to hit you for life damage. I don't think this protects you from commander damage. Someone please correct me in the comments down below if that's accurate, because I think commander damage still goes on, so you can still die to commander damage. However, you can't with Platinum Angel. Flying, and you can't lose the game, and your opponents can't win the game. And then you turn it into a moon, and your opponents are going to be exceedingly sad, right? That is going to be very silly, and they're going to have a profoundly unfun time trying to deal with you just sitting there. Even if you get taken almost completely out of the game, as long as you haven't drawn more cards than your opponents, you still win. We have Silent Arbiter in here, so no more than one creature can attack, no more than one creature can block. I love him. I don't know why he shot up so high in monetary like cost to $16, but he is pretty fun overall. We have Sakashima Student Ninjutsu, so if something's not blocked, you put it into play. I used to play this in my Child of Alara deck as a clone. You may have this creature enter as a copy of any creature on the battlefield, except it's a ninja in addition to its other types. We have Scared Tiller. So whenever it becomes tapped, you choose one. You can put a land from your hand on the battlefield. So if it's a moon, you can ramp. And you can return target land card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. That one's less relevant. And then we have Stormtide Leviathan. This is a big chungus. He costs 8, right? Island Walk. All lands are islands in addition to their other types. And creatures without flying or Island Walk can't attack. So this kind of helps you out, especially if your opponents don't have flying creatures. If they got angels, you're probably still going to die. We have Stunt Double. You may have Stunt Double enter the battlefield as a copy of any creature on the battlefield. It's a flash clone. Synth Infiltrator, improvise. You may have Synth Infiltrator enter the battlefield as a copy of any creature on the battlefield, except it's a synth artifact creature in addition to its other types. We have the Unagi of Kyoshi Island. This one's legendary, but it's pretty cool. It has Flash, it has Ward, Waterbend 4, which will be retained on the Moon copy. So then even if they want to blow up your Moon Unagi, then they still have to pay an extra 4 for it. And whenever an opponent draws their second card each turn, you draw 2 cards. So you could have this out here and a Moon copy of this out here, right? Because, so if you have Unagi on the field, yes, it's legendary, but that clone comes back named Moon, even though it's copied the Unagi of Kyoshi Island, which is weird. I know it's very different and hard to conceptualize, so you'll probably have to use the old Google machine for some of your opponents who might not understand it. We have the Walls of Ba Sing Se. You can do the exact same thing, right? You can have the Walls of Ba Sing Se out there, and then Moon, the Walls of Ba Sing Se, and then that protects both Walls of Ba Sing Se. How many times am I going to say the Walls of Ba Sing Se? Defender, other permanents you control have Indestructible. We have Tian La, which is one that I absolutely love. I love this. I actually have this card as a commander. It's for 4, it's a 3/3. Whenever it becomes tapped, you draw a card, so it's like that. And then whenever it becomes untapped, you put a 1/1 counter on them. I like this card as a creature. I think it's really well balanced and just a fun, interesting one overall. We have Undercover Operative. You can have it enter the battlefield as a copy of any creature, except it enters with a shield counter on it. So, you know, it gives it a little bit of protection, which is really cool because it'll your Moon will have a shield counter on, which is kind of funny. Vesuvian Shapeshifter, as it enters the battlefield or is turned faced up, you can choose another creature on the battlefield. If you do, Vesuvian Shapeshifter is turned face down until Vesuvian Shapeshifter is turned face down. It becomes a copy of that creature, except at the beginning of your upkeep, you may turn this creature face down. It has Morph, so you can morph it up for 2. Morph you can also play for 3 colorless face down. So just another little clone. And this is a repeatable clone, right? So you can flip it upside down and then flip it back up. And then Vizier of Many Faces. It can come into the copy of the battlefield of any creature except if this creature is embalmed. The token has no mana cost. It's white and it's a zombie in addition to its other types. This is extremely important. The embalmed copy is just a normal clone. And if it goes to the graveyard, it poofs. It poofs into non-existence. So don't try to do the Moon thing with the Embalm token. For sorceries, we've got Curse... Come on. Yeah, there we go. We have Curse of Swine. Exile X target creatures. For each creature exiled this way, its controller creates a 2/2 green boar. We have Preordained. Scry 2, draw a card. And Windfall. Each player discards his or her hand and draws cards equal to the number of cards discarded this way. Good way to get you some cards. We have Aetherize, return all attacking creatures to their owner's hands. Aether Spouts, for each attacking creature its owner puts on the top or bottom of their library. I really, really love Aether Spouts. I know it costs 5, but God, I love this card a lot. It has blown out a fair few of my opponents. We have an Offer You Can't Refuse, an Arcane Denial, Counterspell, a Negate, and Cryptic Command for some counter magic. Cryptic Command also, you know, of course, can bounce something to its owner's hand, tap all creatures to your opponent's control, and draw a card. You get to choose 2 modes for it. We have Frantic Search, draw 2, discard 2, untap 3 lands. We have Pongify and Rapid Hybridization for removal. We have Evacuation, return all creatures to their owner's hands. Engulf the Shore, return them to their owner's hands. All creatures with toughness less than or equal to the number of islands you control. We have Blue Sun Zenith. Target player draws X cards, shuffle Blue Sun Zenith into its owner's library. The goal here, by the way, is to copy things and then copy something scary of an opponent's and then win with opponent's stuff. Or, we do have threats of our own out here, like Platinum Empyrean, right? And Stormtide Leviathan is also pretty big and can get in there as well. Or overrunning them with Homunculus Horde. Those are our main win cons. You can also do something like adding High Tide in here and combo pieces to like Blue Suns them out, but nah. I have Arcane Signet in here. I do have Soul Ring in here. Bender's Waterskin. Machine God's Effigy is pretty good here. This clones a creature on the battlefield, except it's an artifact. And so you can do this to one of your non-legendary creatures, because once again, you don't want your legend rule to pop other things. We have Swiftfoot Boots for some protection. Kefnit's Monument. Blue creatures cost 1 less. Whenever you cast a creature spell, target creature an opponent controls can't untap during its controller's next untap step. We do have Planetarium with Wan Shi Tan. You can tap 1 and scry 2. Whenever you scry or surveil, look at the top card of your library. You may cast that card without paying its mana cost. Do this only once each turn. This actually goes really well with standard Princess Yue, right? Because she scries 2 for tapping. We also have Midnight Clock. Tap to add a blue. Put an hour counter on Midnight Clock. During each upkeep, put an hour counter on when it hits 12. Shuffle your hand and graveyard into your library, then draw 7 cards and exile Midnight Clock. Sapphire Medallion cheapens our blue spells. Insight Engine. You tap 2, put a charge counter on this artifact, then draw a card for each charge counter on it. So incrementally more draw. And Waterbending Scroll, you can tap 6 to draw a card. This ability costs 1 less to activate for each island you control. So if you have 6 islands in play, it's tap, draw a card, which isn't bad. For enchantments, we do have Copy Land, which Copy Land enters the battlefield as a copy of any land on the battlefield, except it's an enchantment in addition to its other types. Fun fact with Copy Land, so say you've copied a non-legendary creature and turned it into a moon, so like the Unagi, or not the Unagi, Homunculus Horde, right? And you play Copy Land on the Moon Homunculus Horde, it does not come into play as a moon. I know that's super counterintuitive. It comes into play as a Homunculus Horde, which is just absolutely silly. Very, very silly indeed. We have Mystic Remora in here to help us draw some cards. Mirror Maid, you can have it enter as a copy of any enchantment or artifact on the battlefield. This is to help us get more extravagant replications. Now, this doesn't work with UA and the Moon thing, but what it does do is copy some of our other permanents, which are pretty fun to do. You can copy your non-legendary creatures. You can, if you have a token copy of other things, or like if you have a clone that is a copy of an opponent's non-legendary creature, you can do that. You can copy your Emeritus of Ideation. Super fun stuff there. We have Propaganda to protect us, and Imprisoned in the Moon, because this is 1, thematic for the deck, and 2, one of my favorite cards in Magic. You enchant a land, creature, or planeswalker. Enchanted permanent is a colorless land that taps to add 1 colorless mana and loses all other abilities. Then we have ourselves 38 lands, 35 islands, Thespian Stage with Suba, Myriad Landscape. All right, that's the build. Let's go see how it works today. Now, this is going to be weird for goldfishing, of course. Discard. Sorry, I was playtesting last night. This is going to be weird, of course, so because we don't have opponent stuff on the field in a goldfishing, so we can kind of imagine if we want to. But we're going to draw for our first turn. We're going to drop an island. This deck is slower. That is something I am going to point out. See how we only have like this stuff here. Next turn, we are going to go ahead and drop our Princess Yue. Nobody's going to really... The first time you do this, no one's going to suspect any shenanigans are afoot. Say someone now has something goofy out there, right? Like say somebody... on their turn 4 played a Shieldred the Apocalypse. Well, then we're going to play our Mirror Image on Princess Yue. It's going to plop. So, boop-a-doo-boo. Oh, no, not Mirror Image. Phantasmal Image, my bad. And then it comes back, and that is our Moon and Shieldred the Apocalypse. So then we have 2 mana available, colorless. We untap. We're going to drop an island, and we're actually going to drop a Waterbender Scroll. We're just going to go ahead and draw a card. Not bad. Next turn. So this is legendary, so Thespian staging it is a bad idea, although it can become a creature. So what you would do is, next turn. You could play it, right? And then what you can do is if somebody goes to draw a whole bunch of things, you can do this, and you can have Thespian Stage become a copy, and it would become the Shielder of the Apocalypse. So say they like Windfall, right? And then you're going to have a Shieldred of the Apocalypse until end of turn. And then you're going to also have a Shieldred Moon down here. So say somebody Windfalls, everybody discards, and say everybody's drawing 7. You are going to punch everybody in the face for 14. Seem pretty simple? All right. That's the thing. If you have some rules questions, I would recommend Google and all of that fun stuff. As always, I'm Weston with the Hidden Gibbon, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.